we talked about the last time in terms of elevating your status when it comes to interacting with clients and relaying to them that you're not just a salesperson. It's not just a transactional business. This is a practice that we all run. And because we run our own individual practices, we take pride in our work. And it's important to know that we do not engage in a race to the bottom. And here's the reason why, because we bring a lot of value with us. So that being said, I'm going to be expanding upon the last webinar that we all did together, and go into a little bit more detail in terms of the interaction with clients. What does that conversation look like? How to be able to identify personality types, because that's a huge component of being able to convey effectively to someone that you are worth it. And then towards the end, we're gonna have AJ help us do a couple different role plays so you can actually see in real time how this actually works, because it is a process just like anything else in life. The more you practice at it, the better that you get. So once you get a feel for how this goes this evening, I would definitely encourage you all to work with a colleague, a team member, a family member, your spouse, and practice some of the different, most popular types of personalities as well as conversations that you receive all the time. Nothing ever really changes unless we actually improve upon how we interact with the general public. So that's what this is all about. So that being said, Brandon, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. So for those of you that aren't aware, so I'm Philip Dancer. I am a certified professional inspector as well as a certified master inspector through InterNACHI. So I've been doing this for about 5 years now. Done a little over 2,000 homes. Love, 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 love what I do. My role takes me to a lot of different places. I'm centrally located here in the DMV, so that would be in the Delmarva like area, so Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, DC. But then every once in a while, I do get to travel across the country. So I've been to a lot of cool places. Got to hang out with my friend Randy from Focus Inspections out in California to do a really awesome $50 million house last year. And that's actually that's my picture looking out onto the Pacific Ocean from last year. Just a once in a lifetime experience. So Randy, you're awesome. But that being said, let's jump into this. So when we are thinking about the different facets of our business, and what drives it every single day, and how we're able to get more clients and more families in the door to help, I think that there are three different prongs to this that actually drives the success of our businesses and practices. Essentially, one, you have to be a competent home inspector. If you're not a competent home inspector, not going to be around very long. The second prong is you have to be able to have a compelling enough story, if you will, to be able to drive business phone calls to your phone. So that's the second prong. The third prong is how you interact with those families, with those prospects, when you're talking to them and fielding inquiries about what it costs, as well as what you're going to be doing and why you're worth it. And I may get a difference in opinion here, but my opinion is the first prong is actually not the most important. It's not the one that will actually determine longevity. It's the second two that actually determines longevity. Your ability to be able to create enough buzz to drive opportunities to your phone and to your business and practice every single day. I think the most important one is actually how you interact with those families and prospects on the phone or in person. That is the number one. So when you think about it, and remember what I said a little bit earlier, I've been doing this for 5 years, not 20 years, 5 years. But within those 5 years, I've had a monumental shift or increase upwards in terms of what I'm doing within my practice. So to give you an idea, when I first started, I was at $550 for an inspection. Not a lot. It was probably right around average for what my area was charging at that point in time. Fast forward 5 years later, I'm now more than double that for my average inspection. I'm still inspecting the same homes. I'm doing roughly the same amount of inspections, about 40 every single month. So what's changed? What's changed is that I'm able to be able to better convey and have better conversations with the families and prospects that are calling, asking for help. So it took me a little bit to be able to tailor what I already knew from a sales perspective to the home inspection industry. But once I got the sense of what the families were looking for, I was able to take what I already knew and then just apply it to home inspections because I've been in sales my whole entire life. So what I'm going to share with you all today is a little bit more of a dive into how I interact with clients and how I'm able to win. I would say anecdotally, whenever somebody picks up the phone and calls me, I would probably venture to say I win 9.9 times out of 10 with higher fees. I'm probably $400 higher than the average inspector. So then the question becomes, how am I able to win with a much higher price point? It's because I am focusing on the things that are important to those prospects and families when they call in. And I'm not doing the traditional sales method. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right. So AJ, can you unmute everybody, please?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. There you
All
go.
righty.
All
All
right,
right. So
guys, you
I'm
are
going to
sorry, Phil. I'm just letting everyone know that you are all allowed to talk. You just have to hit the unmute button if you would like to speak to Phil. Whenever he's done with this little section, I'm going to take you guys off. That way you're not all crowding on the board there.
thanks, AJ. All right. Preston, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. Hey, Preston. Why should I hire you as my home inspector?
Well, first, I am a certified master inspector with over 1,200 inspections underneath my belt. And we also offer a load of different perks that give you a peace of mind, such as warranties. We also offer guarantees to make sure that you and your family are safe during the process.
Okay. Hey, Shannon, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Hey, Shannon, why should I hire you as my home inspector?
Well, I've got 25 plus years in the construction industry. Retired from the Air Force and did construction in the Air Force, certified master inspector, and that is a quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, David, are you with us?
Yes.
Why should I hire you as my home inspector?
Because I'm certified by InterNACHI and I'm going to help you find the things that will help save you a lot of headache in the long run, years down the road when you buy your house. Hopefully.
Okay.
I
Thanks,
got,
David.
and uh, I've been in the construction industry most of my life. I'm a cabinet maker. I have a cabinet shop out back right here. So,
Oh, no way.
yeah. So, uh, Easter week, my refrigerator went out. And of course, they don't, even though it's a GE refrigerator, they're not the same size as they were back then when I bought my last refrigerator. I had to build a whole new cabinet to fit my refrigerator Easter week before everybody came over Easter Sunday. So pay attention to detail and catch things and you know, used to haven't been in
Okay.
business that long, but I'm pretty excited. I'm retired. I retired at 57 and decided to do home inspections.
Okay. So let me ask you all of this as a group. Thank you, David, by the way. Let me ask you all this as a group. What's the consistent theme across the board? You all sound the same. So you've been doing inspections for an X amount of years. You're a certified inspector. You have a lot of reviews. You care. That's what our prospects hear from every single home inspector that they're calling, besides you. So that means you are a salesperson that they just need to get a quote from and get off the phone. So how do we cross that line from being a salesperson to a practitioner that has an elevated status, right? They view you as at an elevated status as an authority figure in your space, in your home inspection space, where they value your opinion. They ask you questions about how you feel about certain things, and they want you to come over as soon as possible. And they're not going to ask, hey, do you think you can lower the price a little bit because ABC inspector said that they can do it for $50 less? So AJ, can you can mute now. So what you want to do is you want to make the phone call all about them and why they're calling and what's happening in their life. So we want to make sure that they are aware that we're not just a order taker. We're not just this pesky salesperson that they need to get rid of and talk to very, very quickly. The longer that they linger talking with you, the more they actually trust and value your opinion. And that's what you want. We want to be able to convey to them that we are not the same. Because if the client is getting the sense that we are the same, just like everybody else, like the other two people that they called, or the other three people that they called, guess what is the differentiating factor? Price. The lowest price wins. So, as I had mentioned, there's a reason why they're calling you. Now, they may not open up right away. I would probably say the majority of the people don't open up right away because when they're calling, they don't know us, right? So they're just not going to just open up their book and just tell you about all their problems, because remember, they view you as a salesperson and not as an authoritative figure that has standing in the industry. So our job as home inspectors is to be able to find out why they're calling and what are their pain points, what are their fears, what are their concerns. And if we can get them to open up, trust us enough to talk about what keeps them up at night when they're thinking about buying their next home and when they need that inspection, the better we can convey to them that we are the right option. We are the right person for the job. And not only are we the right person for the job, it's also going to take this amount of resources in order to be able to do the job in the way that they want it done. Now, listen to what I just said. I didn't say it's going to be this expensive, because expensive in cost, it brings like a negative connotation to it. That's why I said resources. So when you talk with families, you're learning about all their different concerns. And then you say, if you want me to address those concerns, then in order for me to do that, this is what the investment is going to be. This is what the resource commitment is going to be. And it makes much better sense, because it's no longer just saying, oh, well, I am X price and I'm $200 higher than everybody else, or I'm $400 higher than everybody else. If you just if you just give them a number, all they're going to hear is that you're ABC expensive more than everybody else, and it's too high. So remember, sales. Sales is not something that you do to someone. Sales is something that is something that you do for someone. And what you're doing is helping them realize why they need to hire someone that is thoughtful, caring, and will inspect their home just like they would, but with your knowledge level. That's the difference. And a lot of families, and I think we can all attest to this, a lot of the families don't really see that initially. Our job is to help them get past what we were talking about last time, which is the cost-based thinking, which is like that low level type of thinking, and try to get them up to thinking about results based thinking. If I am able to hire a better inspector, a more thoughtful inspector, a more caring inspector, then I am going to have a much less of a chance to relive everything that I am living now in my home currently. So it's a very big difference from if a client were to call and say, well, I have a drone, I have a thermal imaging camera, I have a moisture meter. I mean, everyone has those things. Anyone can go out and buy a drone. So we have to be able to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the competition. And this is how you're able to do it, by taking the focus and shifting the focus from us and shifting it back onto the family, onto the clients. And that's where it's going to resonate the most. So if you are not, so here's another way to describe it. If you are not able to get the client to relive the pain and the fear that they have of their past experience, or what they've heard if they're a first-time homebuyer, or from what they've heard from their friends and family, maybe their parents, then we're not going to be able to show them why it's important to go with us. So if you can get the client to start talking about all the issues that they have in their current house, that's good. If you're able to get the client to start talking about the pain and fear of not knowing what they should be tackling first because they didn't know what they should have been tackling first in their current home, that's good. If you're able to get the client to start talking about the pain and fear of having to deal with the aftermath of a bad inspection, essentially, that's good. You're getting them to open up, or having the same experience. So if they're a first-time home buyer, you know that the first-time home buyer is going to talk to their parents, their aunt and uncle, their friends and coworkers about what their experience was like and what their home inspector did or did not do. That's good. You're getting them to open up. I feel like all families, all prospects have a pain and fear of buying a lemon. This is, once you get the hang of it, this is the easiest way to be able to convince clients you're worth it, because you're taking and finding out what they're concerned about, what keeps them up at night, and you're able to say, well, if I can show you what the priorities are with this home that you need to have inspected by categorizing it as blue, so for me, blue, just maintenance, fix it at some point, or the immediates, which are red, safety concerns, would that be helpful? The client would probably say yes. If I find out that the client didn't have an ideal inspection last time and they're having to deal with defects A, B, C, and D, if I say, well, if I can help you have much less of a chance of having defects like A, B, C, and D, because I'm going to try to be much more thoughtful going through your new home, is that the type of help that you're looking for? They're going to say yes. If I find out that their friend went with the low bid inspector and the low bid inspector missed the fact that the roof needs to be replaced, heard about it the other day, I don't know how that happened, would that be helpful? I'll make sure I look at that roof just a little bit more closely for you. So that way you don't have to go through the same experience as your friend. Sorry to hear about your friend, but that way you don't have to go through the whole experience that your friend went through of getting a new roof. Is that the type of help that you're looking for? So you see how there's a big difference between when someone says, "Why should I go with you?" and me starting to ask about their life and their past experiences, and if they've bought a home before, if they've been through a home inspection before, what was that experience like? What are you currently dealing with now? And let me make sure that I focus on those things for you, because I want to help minimize the chances of you experiencing those things again, Mr. and Mrs. Client. We've got a fresh start. We've got a chance for a fresh start. Let's tackle those problem areas now. We'll go straight to them so that way you know what the condition of those areas are like. And then just know that I'm still also going to look at the roof for you. I'm going to look at the foundation. I'm going to look at that HVAC system. And I'm also going to help you prioritize. So that way you'll know which things you need to knock out first. Sound good? What do you all think? A little bit different than a little bit different than saying that we've got 2,000 reviews, 3,000 reviews. All right, personality types. This is very, very important to be able to hone in on. Now, this is something that you all won't be able to have a good handle on right away, but this is why practice makes perfect. So there are different personality types, as we are all aware, when it comes to just interacting with people. So there are some people that are very, very analytical. There are some people that really don't like to chat a lot. There are some people that love to chat, and then there are people that are in between. So it's very important for us to be able to identify within the first couple minutes who we're talking to on the phone. And the reason why it's important to understand and know who we're talking to on the phone, because it's going to tailor how we deliver our message and how we interact with that particular prospect to make sure that the message we're trying to convey resonates with them. Because if we identify the wrong personality type and we're trying to interact with them in a different way that actually resonates with them, then we lose them very, very quickly, and then they'll just want to move on, and they won't understand the value that we bring, even though we bring immense value. So let's see here. So the first one is the driver type of personality. So the driver type of personality doesn't, as I mentioned, doesn't like to talk a lot, likes to get right to the point, just wants the information directly, doesn't really linger around, no small talk. That's a driver. Now the next person is or personality type is an analytical mind. So that person, as it describes, is that person is all about numbers and double checks and triple checks everything. So it's important to know, obviously, if you're dealing with someone that is more of an analytical type, because you can't just talk about warm and fuzzies, flowers, clouds, good feelings. It doesn't resonate with that person. You have to show them numbers. The next type of personality is the amiable personality. This person is really friendly, really outgoing, chatty. So I personally like to deal with amiable people, because I feel like that's like my personality. That's who I resonate with the most. But I don't get to choose. Expressive personalities. They just love to describe everything, and they also love to learn. Oftentimes they're very visual in terms of learning, and they also love to hear stories. Stories resonate with them a ton. So as you can see, when it comes to these different types of personalities, there isn't a one size fits all. Sometimes you could be talking to somebody that is a analytical driver, doesn't talk a lot, all about numbers, doesn't really share a lot about their life, their experiences. Probably not going to share what their pain points are right away. Just wants the information and then wants to get off the phone. The exact opposite of that is an expressive, amiable person. They'll talk to you for an hour if you let them to, if you let them. So, but then you also have other styles as well. I think the three that we typically come across every single day are analytical drivers. We come across amiable, expressive personalities quite a bit. And I would also say we also most likely come across people that are amiable and also somewhat analytical. Those are the three most likely personality types that we will encounter every single day. And as I mentioned before, we have to be able to identify within the first couple minutes who we're actually talking to. Do we need to use a lot of numbers? Or do we need to share a lot of stories? Don't share stories to the driver. They'll hang up the phone on you. Unless you can somehow tie numbers into it. Don't share a lot of numbers. Don't share a lot of rule numbers with an amiable, expressive person. That'll go right over their head. You'll lose them in 2 seconds, and then they'll hang up the phone on you because they don't get it. That's not how they absorb information. So those are the different types of personality types. So let's see here. Let's move on. So when is that? So when is the sale? When is the sale actually made? How can you tell when you've done a good job, or when the prospect, when that family is going to actually hire you, retain your services? The sale is made in the conversation, in the fact-finding conversation between you and that family, between you and that prospect. Listening about their hopes and dreams and their pain, right? And their fear. And it's not about how many reviews that we have, the fact that we just picked up a DJI Mini 4 or that we have like the latest and greatest like FLIR. It's not. So unless we can get them to relive the pain of their current situation, that's where we're gonna find a lot of challenges. So the last thing that I'll mention in this particular slide is that when it comes to sales, change is everything. When the client calls you, especially if this is not the client's first time buying a house, change is everything. The inspector that is better able to get that prospect or that family to realize that change is needed, the higher the chance of actually winning that opportunity to inspect for that family. The family or prospect is calling you for a reason. They're not going to tell you this right away, especially since they've bought another home before, so long as it's not a first-time home buyer. If they've purchased another home before, where is that other inspector that they used before? If that home inspector was really good, they would have already called that person, right? And then they would have not needed to call you. But they're calling you because that last interaction wasn't meeting their level of satisfaction. It wasn't meeting their expectations. So now we have to essentially get them to talk about what that experience was like. What were the pain points? What did they want to see from that inspection that they did not see? So we're making it all about them, as opposed to what our credentials are. Because I'll tell you, the longer that I do this, the less questions I have about those types of things. How many reviews do I have? What are my certifications? How many inspections have I done? What type of tools do I have? I don't get asked those questions. Now, watch me jinx myself, but nowadays I just get asked how you know when can you actually come over to do this? And then I say, well, it's going to be a couple days, it's going to be 3 days, it's going to be like a week and a half, because we typically book like 2 weeks out. And then I tell them, in order for me to be able to do this, like I did it for your friend or your coworker or your family member, this is what the resource commitment is going to be in order for me to be able to produce that type of report. And they say, okay, amazing. So once you get the hang of it, there is no race to the bottom. I'm not competing with other inspectors, because the other inspectors aren't providing the type of service that I'm providing. I have no competition, if that makes sense. So when someone asks you, so going back full circle, when someone asks you for a quote, what should the first thing that you say should be? Why should I hire you? Right? That's how we started. Why should I hire you? You know, why should I hire you? What's your quote? The first way that we should be responding is, well, thank you so much for calling today. Before I actually give you a quote, I need to know if I can help you and what type of help you're looking for. Because remember, I don't want to be a salesperson. So, and that's the truth. I don't know if I can help that particular prospect. Maybe their expectations are so out of line with how I do things and with my standards of practice that I can't live up to their expectations. But also, in order for them to be able to truly listen to me and absorb what I'm saying, you know, as you know, with why it's so important to find the best inspector, not the cheapest inspector, I need them to not think that I am a salesperson. So in order for me to do that, the first thing I need to do is get them to drop their guard. The easiest guard is by saying, I don't know if I can help you. And that's the truth. Because I may not have capacity. I may not be able to inspect the way that they want me to inspect. So I don't know if I can help you, but I would love to chat with you for a few minutes and just talk about what your past experience has been like with owning the home that you have now, or other homes that you've owned in the past, as well as what is your inspection? What has been your experience been like with other inspectors? What did you like? What did you not like? Because I want to make sure that I inspect it in a way that you're going to be happy, that you're going to be satisfied. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you a couple different questions here so I can figure out what it's going to be able to take to help you. Would that be fair? What do you all think? Is that a little bit different? Preston, I see you. Yeah, different. It is different. Oh, you did that this morning. Oh, that's awesome. Preston, how did that go? Oh, Preston, yes, see, you got it. No price asked. No price asked. No price asked. If you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. No, just checking. This isn't Louis Vuitton. This isn't Hermes. I mean, I will not be asking you to buy a $2,000 chair or an $800 wastebasket today. So, if you want to buy the inspection, you can buy the inspection. That's awesome, Preston. All right, cool. Okay, so that's what I want you all to think about, as well as to practice. And I know it's a knee-jerk reaction, so it's going to take a little bit of time to slowly shift your mindset as to how to initially respond to clients. Because I know sometimes the clients can be pretty direct and pretty forward in terms of, I'm just trying to get a quote. I just want a quote. I got quotes from 2 other people. I just need one more. My realtor told me I need 3. Or it might be from the realtor. It might be from the realtor. Like, well, I just need to be able to send 3. Just what's a quote? Remember, just like anything else in life, if it's too readily available, people don't want it. We have to, in a sense, slow it down and take it away from them. I don't know if I can help you. I don't know if I can help you. I don't even know if you want my help. But after I learn a little bit more about what it is that you're looking for, then I'll describe my process. And let's see if those 2 things align. And if they do, amazing. If not, no worries. Good luck with your home. Appreciate it. So, all right. So now I want to get into role playing here. So we've got two different scenarios, and this is something that again takes practice. But I want you all to get a feel for how this goes. So there are two personality types that we're going to role play today. So one is the analytical driver, and then the other one here you can see is going to be an amiable, expressive person. So AJ has been amazing enough to role play with us. So AJ is going to play the prospect, and then I'm going to play the inspector. I am the inspector. But AJ is going to play the prospect, and this guy's going to play the inspector. And AJ's first is going to be the analytical driver. So a little bit of background, guys. I know you can see it on the slide, but I think it kind of helps us just to hear. So this person that's going to be calling me, AJ, is a nuclear engineer. That's their profession. So a nuclear engineer obviously knows the rules for everything, right? It's so critical to be able to get things right the first time. This person, well, actually, both of these clients are going to be building new construction because that's what I love doing. I love new construction. So everything is centered around new construction for me. This person checks and triple checks their own work because it's that important. This person has had inspections in the past. I don't know that. But that's this person's backstory. They have had inspections in the past. The inspections did not live up to her expectations for this nuclear engineer. She thought it was just too basic in effort and knowledge. But she's doing the inspection because and she's getting quotes because she knows she still needs to do it, but she's kind of bitter about the fact that it wasn't the way that she wanted to go the first time around. And because of that, she has a fear of having to deal with another lemon, but distrustful of inspectors because it's in her mind they weren't detailed and missed a lot. So because of all of this particular prospect, little hesitant to open up. But let's see what we can do. AJ, you ready?
All right, can you hear me now?
Awesome. Can you hear me?
All right, ring ring.
Hello, thanks for calling the Answering Company. This is Phil. How may I assist you?
Hi Phil, this is AJ. I am looking to get my new build inspected. Can I get a quote?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. So AJ, how did you find me?
I actually looked you up online. I had not that great of an experience with the last inspector on a previous build that I had, and I was looking to venture out.
Got it. Okay. So building a new construction home. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to give you a quote. But before I give you a quote, I do want to learn a little bit more about you. See what it is that you're looking for. And then also see if I can accommodate that because I don't know if I can help you. I typically book about a week and a half to 2 weeks out. But then I also want to make sure that I can actually meet your expectations as well, just because everyone wants to see something different. So that being said, if you don't mind, love to ask you a couple different questions in terms of what your past experience has been like, as well as what I do as a home inspector. And then at the end, I can talk to you about what type of resources it's going to take in order to be able to bring me out and be able to inspect it in the way that you want me to.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great. So when you so the house that you're currently living in now, is that a new construction house?
It is. We just closed on it on the land, and they're gonna start putting shovels in the dirt pretty soon. So I'm looking for
Okay.
something that can be with it throughout the entire process. Yeah, just looking for an inspector that can do that.
Okay. And the house that you're living in now, is that a new construction house or is that a resale?
No, it's a resale. I'm currently living in this one while the new one's being built.
Okay. So what's driving you to do new construction this time around?
Well, I really want to flip this one and just make more money. I want to rent this house I'm currently living in, and yeah.
Got it. Okay. So when you are so you're going to rent the one that you're currently living in, and then you're going to buy this next one, and then flip that, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay. So when it comes to buying a new construction house, oftentimes people think brand new means perfect. Would you agree with that?
You know, realistically, I know there's going to be hiccups here and there.
Yeah.
Not expecting a perfect house. I know that as soon as it's built, it's going to start, dissipating and breaking down.
Got it. Now, so you said you want to stop by as much as possible. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, I'm looking for someone that can routinely visit the site, make sure that everything's staying up to standards. And do you follow a certain standards at all?
Yeah, yeah, good question. So I follow the InterNACHI standards of practice, and
What's
I can
that?
get more into that in a little bit. That's where we take a look at a lot of the different systems of your new home. So I'll get into that in a second, but it's very like the roof and the foundation and the electrical panel. But when you were doing your research, what did you find out about new construction homes? What are some of the biggest things that you saw that might be a concern of yours when they're building quickly?
Well, when I was looking at it, I was just real concerned about just the foundation issues and just I've seen basements with huge cracks in them, and I want to make sure that my basement is perfect. I don't want any cracks. I don't want any leaks. I don't want my basement to be a pool.
Yeah, yeah, don't we all? When you were when you were doing your research, did you find out why oftentimes basements crack and
You know,
leak?
I did.
And
I found a couple reasons here and there online, but I'm looking for a professional that can actually walk me through and tell me about these and tell me the reasons why they're cracking as well.
got it. So is this something so do you have a background in this? So are you in construction, or what do you do right now for a living?
I'm not in construction. I'm a nuclear engineer.
Oh, no way. Oh, very cool. So like Boeing or like
Sure.
yeah, very very cool. Okay, not a lot of not a lot of background when it actually comes to construction
No,
itself.
I know that I
So
have 4 walls and a roof.
got it. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at things a little bit more closely, just like how you would when it comes to your nuclear engineer profession, because it's important to be able to get things right the first time, right? So when you were asking me about my standards of practice, I'm looking at a representative number of everything in your new home, including your foundation, to make sure that if it is cracking, we'll find out where it's cracking. If it is cracking, make sure that we bring it to the builder's attention. That way it doesn't leak. And then if it is cracking, also help you try to determine the possible cause of the crack and build it and bring it to the builder's attention. Now, one of the things that the builder is going to say is, we're not required to do what your home inspector says. We're only required to let your home inspector do. Now, the reason why the builder says that is because the builder has their own sets of standards. And one of the sets of standards that they abide by is the National Association of Home Builders, the NHB. The NHB has a set of guidelines and rules that they have to follow. So, for example, if I were to, let's say, if I'm doing a pre-drywall inspection and I see a low section in your floor on the kitchen level, if the low section exceeds a length of 32 inches with a depth exceeding 1/4 of an inch, according to Rule 3-3-2 of the NAHB, I can make the builder fix that. If I'm in your basement and I see that same type of condition, like a low spot, according to Rule 2-2-3 of the NHB, it says that if it exceeds a length of 32 inches, and also now the depth is going to change, a depth exceeding 3/8 of an inch, the builder will fix that. If I see that that your floor on the second level isn't level, and level is different from uneven. Uneven means it's exceeding a length of 32 inches. Out of level means it's actually exceeding a length of 20 feet with a low spot exceeding 1/2 an inch. According to Rule 2-2-2, the builder has to fix that. So if I can go through your new home with that type of mindset, just like yours, while still also looking for cracks, damage to the foundation, helping you try to make sure that the basement isn't leaking, and help you be present because I know that you can't always be there. I can be your second set of eyes when I'm able to for a foundation inspection, pre-drywall inspection, and final inspection. Is that the type of help that you're looking for?
I am. Will I also get a copy of everything that you find as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the neat things that I do is I create reports for families, and I can typically turn it around the same day in the evening. It'll have a lot of pictures, but then also videos. So if for some reason, if you're not able to avail yourself for one of those inspections or avail yourself for the entire duration of the inspection, I'll have the videos that you'll be able to play back at your leisure and be able to see almost in real time what I was seeing. So that's pretty neat. Questions
Yeah.
about that?
I just don't want this to end up having tons of problems when it's all said and done and then having to pay thousands later.
Yeah. I think the best practice that everyone does is exactly what you're doing today. Talking to a certified professional inspector, master inspector from InterNACHI, the largest inspector association in the country, that does a lot of new construction and works with you hand in hand along with the builders to make sure that a lot of those concerns that you have will be minimized. Now, remember, nothing's perfect. New construction is not perfect. The only way to be able to resolve all conditions is to actually just live and use and enjoy the home. But if we're able to be a part of the build process, just like how you would, but with our construction mindset, I think it's going to turn out really nicely.
Sounds great.
So in order for us to be able to do, the inspections, it's the amount of resources that you're going to have to commit for each inspection is going to be $1,200. But it's going to be able to allow me to be able to look at your new home like you would, but with my knowledge of it. How's that sound?
It sounds great. But are there any references as I can look up on you?
Sure. So what you'll be able to do is when you and I get off the phone, you're going to be able to go onto our website, which is dancerandco.com. And then you're going to be able to look at sample reports. There, you're going to find a lot of other families' homes that are just like yours that you're going to be building where they have experienced challenges and they were brought to the builder's attention. So when it comes down to doing these inspections, it doesn't matter who the builder is or where you're building or what the price point is. These challenges are present in every single home. And that's the reason why I have not just one sample report up on the website, I have multiple. There are 3 pre-drywalls, 3 finals, and 3 11-month inspections. That way you can get a sense that from house to house to house, it's all the same. So that's the reason why you want to have a home inspector that knows new construction inside and out, because the problems are popping up in the same way, fashion and form. So that way is less of a chance for them to be in your house, because regardless of who you hire, those problems and challenges will be there. You just have to be able to get an inspector that understands what those problems are and deals with it every single day.
Thank you, Phil. I look forward to working with you.
Awesome. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my office manager, Jessica, reach out to you here momentarily. She's going to get all of your information. She's going to get your builder information as well. And then, so on and so forth. And then off we go.
All right.
What do you guys think? Is that a little bit different than saying we have the most reviews? We have drone technology. We use the best inspection software in the business. Spector, by the way, love Spector. A little bit different. So you can see how I can command higher prices, because I'm not the same inspector that they called 2 inspectors ago. You also saw how I tried to stay away from price initially, because if I give price right away, and not build them up to the level of why it costs that much, guess what? You lose. And that's all I hear. Price. That's it. And you also saw me regurgitating, essentially, for lack of a better way to describe it, what AJ's concerns were. What were AJ's concerns? Cracks in the foundation, leaking foundation, how the damage came about, being as present as possible. Those are his pain points. So all I did was I said, well, if I can help you alleviate those pain points, is that the type of help that you're looking for? I'm not guessing. He told me what they were, but I have to get it out of him. And it takes a little bit of a conversation to do. Sound good? All right, AJ, let's do one more. All right, the amiable, expressive personality. All right, so this person is a school teacher. How are we doing on time? All right, we've got 8 minutes. Let's do, AJ, we may not actually have time to do another one. Actually, you know what? Let's try to do an abbreviated one here. So so just really quickly. So amiable, expressive, it's a school teacher. School teachers obviously love explaining how things work. This person is also building a new home. This person prefers visual learning because you know they're constantly demonstrating and modeling for others. Has obviously had inspections in the past on a resale. Inspections didn't live up to his expectations, so same as before. This one thinks that new construction is perfect and doesn't need an inspection, but it's calling anyways. But because of this, he's hesitant to open up. Not really sure that the builder's going to fix it. So, all right, AJ, you ready?
All right. Hey, Phil, I'm looking to hire an inspector to kind of monitor the process of this new build that I have going on right now. I don't really think I need an inspector. I mean, the builders, they know what they're doing. There shouldn't be any kind of issues. But my wife, she's pestering me to make sure that, all our T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Got it. What was she pestering you about?
Well, she just wants to make sure that, little things like, just make sure that little things are being taken care of and aren't being missed. Like, simple things.
Got it.
I don't really know what she thinks is wrong with it, because I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with the house. I can't even.
Because it's new, right?
It's brand new. What could be wrong with a brand new house?
Right. I mean, that's the way I feel a lot of families have felt when they first started the new construction process. But what they found was after they actually moved into the home, there was actually quite a few things. A lot of the inspections that we do are actually 11-month inspections, and go figure, the 11-month inspections that we do never had an inspection while the home was being built. So a pre-drywall inspection and a final inspection, because they thought, just like you, it's new. What could be wrong? And then when they actually start living everything, and they find like damaged countertops, plumbing leaking, a damaged truss in the attic because they had to go in because a roofer from the builder had to go in and find out why the attic was leaking. And then they came down from the attic and said, well, great news, I found
above my head. For all that is above my head. You don't think they can just fix it, or when they build it, they just build it correctly? I mean, how often do 11-month inspections pop up with something?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Every single day, no questions asked. So when it comes to home inspections, one of the things that I want to do is actually learn a little bit more about what your experience is like in the past. And then also just talk about what I also do, and see if what I do and how I go about doing inspections is something that you want done. Because I don't know if I can help you, or that you even want my help based off of how I actually do inspections. But we will learn together a little bit more about if this could possibly work.
Sure. I'll tell you right off the bat, the last home inspector I had said I had all these problems, that I had mold, but ended up being black paint, and I spent thousands on repairing it. So I'm not too hot on the idea of having an inspector coming in and telling me things that may not be true.
Oh my gosh. How did you find that inspector?
A quick Google search.
Yeah. Did you get multiple quotes when you were
No, I just went with the cheapest guy.
okay? Yeah. What I've I don't was this the only time that that you've interacted with the home inspection industry?
It was the only time.
Yeah. I will say, just like anything else in life, just like cars or like refrigerators, you do get what you pay for. So there's always going to be the high end where you're paying the most amount of money for it, but you also get what you're paying for. And then there's also like the more affordable route where it's more cost effective, but then they're also cutting corners in order to be able to provide that product or service in that way. So sorry to hear that you went through that, but hopefully, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to do an inspection for you that's actually a lot more thoughtful, and we'll be able to take our time doing the inspection. Now, the amount of resources that you're going to have to commit will be a little bit different this time around, right? But because we're going to be able to take more time at the home, probably a lot different than what you experienced last time, we'll be able to better identify what we're seeing. That way, hopefully, you're not going to experience somebody calling black paint mold.
Well, what separates you from everyone else, Phil?
That's a very, very good question. So when it comes to what I'm doing versus everybody else, it's really about you and what you want and how you want the home to be inspected. And what are the experiences that you've had in the past when it comes to inspections? Now, I know that you were talking about black paint being called mold. What are some of the challenges that what are some of the other challenges that you're going through right now that the other inspector might have missed?
Well, some of the doors aren't shutting properly. The door handles are loose on them. The air conditioner doesn't get cold as it should be. But I figure
Yeah.
all things that comes with an old house, right?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, all those types of things can also be present at a new construction house.
Really?
How long did your inspector take going through your house that you live in now?
Oh, he was only there for maybe a couple hours.
Yeah. It's so that's the effort. So like in my industry, in order to be able to provide something like a more cost effective like bid, I have to cut something somewhere, right? And that somewhere is the amount of time that I spend in the home. But there are pros and cons for everything. So if I'm going to keep the costs down, then I'm not going to be able to look at things as closely, and then I might just call you black paint mold, or I might miss the fact that that the AC system isn't cooling as effectively as possible because all I did was I just checked 2 registers and I didn't check all the other 15.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't know
So
that in
you know
depth.
I don't know if is so from what I'm hearing is you want something that's a lot more thorough.
Well, yeah, don't we all?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what we all deserve. Like if I can do the exact opposite of what you experienced the last time, is that the type of help that you're looking for?
Well, it's the type of help that my wife is looking for. And if we're just looking for somebody that can just follow the whole process and tell us what needs to be fixed without trying to squeeze every penny out of us.
Yeah. The one story that I'll share and I'll leave you with is along the lines of, so I do a lot of new construction as you know. And it's important to be able to understand the new construction communities. I'll give you a quick story of why it's so important that you want to have an inspector that actually does this for a living, because I know the ins and outs. So I was doing a home inspection, pre-drywall inspection for a family around Thanksgiving about 3 years ago. And after I did the inspection, I met the wife there. And the wife was telling me how upset she was because there was already a cladding, so a covering on the front side of the home, and it was supposed to have been an all brick front, but the builder got it wrong. It only did a brick cladding a quarter of the way up. And when she talked to the project manager about it, she said, where the project manager said, "I can't change this. There are too many wheels in motion. This is what it's going to be." And she was very, very upset, and she told me. But because of the fact that I understand new construction much better than a lot of my other colleagues here in the area, because this is what I do, I understood how that builder gets paid. That builder and their project manager, they get paid based off of not just how profitable they are, but also based off of how many reviews that they get. So the more 5-star reviews they get, the higher the payout they get based off of how profitable they are. So I had a side conversation with that builder and I said, hey, I totally get it that there's a timetable here, and that it's hard to change it and it's going to cost more money. And keep in mind again that this was at the end of the year around Thanksgiving. And I said, do you have enough reviews to absorb a bad one that is coming? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I understand what's happening, but this is almost a guaranteed bad review because this is what she paid for. She paid for an all brick front. Do you have enough to absorb this review? That's all I'm saying. Do you have enough? Just think about that. And what did the wife get? About a week and a half, 2 weeks later, she got her all brick front because that project manager and the builder did not have enough reviews because it was at the end of the year to be able to absorb that bad one. Because of my knowledge of the industry and how the builder gets paid, I was able to pull on that lever and help advocate for the family. Now, I'm not saying that I can do this every single time and I'm successful every time, but this is the type of help that I can give you. And hopefully that's something that you and your wife are looking forward to.
Well, I like everything that you said.
Awesome. All right, so here's what I'm going to do.
Here,
I'm going to have our office manager, Jessica, get on the phone with you and get all your information and get you set up for the first inspection. Just so you know, so the amount of resources that it's going to take in order to be able to do this is $1,200. But you guys are going to be able to sleep much better at night knowing that you've got someone in your corner.
All right. Just let me know a time when we can meet.
Awesome. Alrighty, guys. I know we're super short on time now. But that is essentially how my phone calls go with prospects, with families. So as you can see, very, 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 very different than just talking about the tools that I have, or how many reviews that I have, or how long I've been doing this for. So before we end it for the evening, questions.
So my quick question, I am continuously, I get so busy that sometimes I don't answer the phone calls and I have an admin answering it. Do you recommend training the admin to kind of mirror the same features the same way that you mentioned?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
The more that you can get your team to do what you do, the less time, the less involvement you have.
Yeah.
In those tasks, because what you want to do, because we only have so much like mental capacity to be able to handle certain things throughout the day, and the more things that we have on our plate, the more mentally tired we become, and then the less effective we are. So the more that we can actually delegate, the better, because then we can be more impactful for the things that are that make a bigger impact.
Awesome. Makes sense. Totally appreciate that, Phil. Good information.
Hey, you got it. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, guys, go out, make it a good week. Have a great rest of your week. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Phil, thank you, man. I'll talk to you later.
See you guys.